Vandeyaham Sri Guru Shijadapada Kamalang Shri Guru and Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Shagurajatam Shahagana Raganatam Vitang Tang Shajivam Shadvaitam Shavadutam Parijana Shaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Shibishakang Vitangscha Mantra Guru Ajota Shikha Guru Ganta Charane Age Kori Abandon Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shamate Bhakti Vedanta Shami Iti Namane Namaste Ashara Shati Deve Gaudavani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shandavadi Paschata Desha Tarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Texts 29 and 30 of Canto 11, Chapter 5, Srimad Bhagavatam. Namaste Vasudevaya. Nama Shankar Shanaya Cha. Pradyumnaya Nirudhaya. Tubhyam Bhagavate Namaha. Narayanaye Rishaye Purushaya Mahatmane Vishveshvarya Vishvarya Sarvabhut Atmane Namaha. Namaste Vasudevaya. Nama Shankar Shanaya Cha. Pradyumnaya Nirudhaya. Tubhyam Bhagavate Namaha. Narayanaya Rishaye Purushaya Mahatmane Vishveshvaraya Vishvaya Sarvabhutatmane Namaha. Please chant. Matri Mandoli. Namaha, obeisances, te, unto you, Vasudevaya, Vasudev. Namaha, obeisances, Sankarshanaya, to Sankarshana, cha, and Pradumnaya, to Pradumna, Anirudhaya, to Aniruddha, to Byam, to you, Bhagavate, the personality of Godhead. Namaha, obeisances, Narayanaya Rishaye, to Lord Narayan Rishi, Purushaya, the supreme enjoying male and the creator of the material universe. Mahatmane, the supreme being, Vishva Ishwaraya, the Lord of the universe, Vishvaya, and himself the very form of the universe. Sarvabhuta Atmane, the super soul of all living beings. Namaha, obeisances. Translation: obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord Vasudeva, and to your forms of Sankarshan, Pradumna, and Aniruddha. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all obeisances unto you. O Lord Narayan Rishi, O Creator of the universe, best of personalities, Master of this cosmos and original form of the universe. O Super Soul of all created entities, all homage unto you. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that although Lord Krishna appeared at the end of the Dwapara Yuga, great sages chanted this verse from the beginning of that age in expectation of his appearance. Ordinary living entities, although eternally subordinate to the Lord, become absorbed in attempting to dominate the material creation, yet ultimately remain under the control of the Supreme Lord. The constitutional position of the living entity is engagement in the Lord's service. It is further the constitutional position of the material nature to be engaged by the living entity in satisfying the transcendental desires of the Lord. Thus, these prayers, as mentioned in this verse, are offered to the Supreme Lord in accordance with the Pancharatra and Vedic mantras, so that one may become fixed in remembering his eternal subordination to the absolute truth. There are further paragraphs in the purport written by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, which you can read in your own time. Mukam karati bachalam pangam langai gadim jat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurundinatarinam. This is a very beautiful verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, so beautiful. When we read verses like this, we become inspired to study Sanskrit language very deeply because it is such exquisite poetry. Mahamune krite king vaipada ishvara sadya riddhi avarudyate atra kritibish takshanat. That because this Bhagavatam is Mahamuni krite, it is compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva. Mahamuni krite, that King Vai Ishvara Sadya Riddhi Avarudyate, just immediately, Sadya Avaridi Avarudyate, the Supreme Lord becomes situated in one's heart just by attentive hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam. This chapter is Srila Narada Dev's teachings to Vasudeva. We if we were to do a statistical analysis, we could conclude that Srila Narada Dev is the most frequent preacher in Srimad Bhagavatam. Here in the 11th canto, we hear him preaching to Vasudev. He's preaching very extensively for almost 10 chapters in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then the Nrsimha Leela. In the 4th canto, extensive teachings of Srila Narada Dev. The 4 chapters that Narad's preaching to Dhruva Maharaj. And then the chapters 24 to 33 of the 4th canto, Narad Muni preaching to King Prachinabahishat, and then to his sons, the Prachetas, and on and on. The 2nd canto also Narad discussing with Brahmadev. And actually, this Srimad Bhagavatam, we can see it is produced as a result of the preaching of Srila Narada Muni and the association he mercifully bestowed upon its author, Vyasa Muni. The Bhagavatam begins with the questions of the sages at Naimisharanya. They had assembled to perform a yajna for the benefit of the people in Kali Yuga. And actually in the 19th chapter of the 1st canto, the sages are explaining that they were feeling frustrated in performing the yajna and simply coughing with the smoke. So in the beginning, they inquired from Srila Shuta Goswami, their elected speaker, that Buddhini Buddhi Karmani, there are so many Vedic injunctions, Buddhini Buddhi Karmani, so many prescribed duties in the Vedic literature, Shrotabhyani Vibhagashaha, which have to be heard in their respective divisions, Shrotabhyani Vibhagashaha, Atashadu, hey holy man, Trayat Sharam, you kindly select the essence of all of that Vedic wisdom, Trayat Sharam, Samo Britamanishaya Bruhi, and you tell us, Bruhi, Bhadraya Bhutanam, so that which will be Bhadraya Bhutanam, auspicious for all living entities, Yainatma Shu Prashiditi, by which they can attain full satisfaction. That's in the 1st chapter of this great epic work, Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srila Sutta Goswami, he explained in various ways that actually the Bhadraya Bhutanam, the most auspicious thing, the Trayat Sharam, the essence of all the Vedic literature is the glorification of the Supreme Lord Hare. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Sanghitam. This Srimad Bhagavatam is Puranam Brahma Sanghitam. It is the literary incarnation of the personality of Godhead. The literary incarnation of the personality of Godhead. When the devotees many years ago were on the traveling Sankirtan in the time of Srila Prabhupada's presence on this planet, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they inquired about traveling Sankirtan with deities. And at that time, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that actually it's not required that you carry the deities with you when you're on the traveling Sankirtan. You can offer the arati and offer the bhoga, and you can worship the Srimad Bhagavatam because it is the literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oftentimes in the ISKCON temples, we see the Srimad Bhagavatam placed on the altar and worship. Sometimes during the marathon, Gaur Nitai, they are holding Srimad Bhagavatam. So Puranam Brahma Sanghitam, the literary incarnation of the personality of Krishna. And then the sages, Sutta Goswami explained a very significant verse, which reflects the decision that Srila Prabhupada made, the strategy that Srila Prabhupada had to make the class on Srimad Bhagavatam a compulsory item of sadhana in the ISKCON temples. Sadhu Shanga, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathura Bas, Srimurtirda, Shradaya Sheban, Shokal Shadon Shreshta, E Pach Anga, Krishna Prem Janmaya, E Pache Alpashanga. Even a little hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna Prema Janmaya, can awaken love of Krishna in the heart of the hearer. And understanding these conclusions, Srila Prabhupada established a regular hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam every day in the ISKCON temple. One time, many years ago, when I was in Melbourne, Mahaprabhu Mandir, which was a temple established by Srila Prabhupada, where I joined the Krishna consciousness movement. One time, his Nittolila Pravishta Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was visiting Melbourne Mahaprabhu Mandir. And in the evening, he was giving classes on the Sri Upadesh Amrita. And then we were heading off for Sankirtan on the last day of Maharaj's auspicious presence in the temple. And therefore, we were going to miss the last session of his presentations on Sri Upadesh Amrita. So at that time, I requested His Holiness Maharaj, could you give the Upadesh Amrita class in the morning during the Srimad Bhagavatam class? And he said, no, that is not possible. Srila Prabhupada established a Srimad Bhagavatam class on his Srimad Bhagavatam, and that should never be replaced or compromised. So I thought that was a significant incident, which I thought I would share with you today. So Shuddha Goswami goes on to explain that specifically for Kali Yuga, that Krishna Swadam Upagate. At the beginning of Kali Yuga, here we're discussing this prayer was composed during the Dwapara Yuga. SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple Vishakaki. That this Srimad Bhagavatam is specifically designed for the blind, conditioned souls of the Kali Yuga. Krishna Sadam Upagate. Krishna having returned to his Dham, Dharma Gyan Adibi Shaha, along with religion and knowledge, Dharma Gyan Adibi Shaha. The sages who had inquired, so Krishna having departed this planet, you could imagine how depressed the sages were feeling that we had the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan, Swayam Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, his lotus feet were walking on this planet in Bharat Bhumi, Braja Bhumi, and then Dwarka, Mathura, where the Lord performed his transcendental pastimes and purifying this planet by the touch of his lotus feet. And now he has departed. Where could we possibly get shelter? How could this possibly be replaced? The personal presence of the Lord. And Shuddha Goswami explained that Krishna Shadamu Pagade Dharma Jnanadi Kalo Nasta Drisham, that those who are remaining in the Kali Yuga, who are Nasta Drisham, their vision is destroyed. So everybody in the Kali, we're blinded by the influence of this age. The people, there's so much, in fact, if it were not for when I reflect on my own experience, if it were not for the efforts of Srila Prabhupada's disciples in Melbourne, Australia, who organized strategic preaching programs in that city, particularly in the college where I was studying, Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, if it weren't for the kindness of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, who, with great determination, organized varieties of preaching programs, that I would have never been awakened to Krishna consciousness. I would never have been awakened to Krishna consciousness. We were completely nashtadrisham, blinded by the materialistic values which are indoctrinated into the conditioned souls from all sides in a Kali Yuga. So there's no hope. So the sages were very depressed seeing this situation. And Sutta Goswami is explaining that Kalo nasta drishamasha puranako odunoditaha. Purana, this odunoditaha, which is just arisen, odunoditaha, it is puranako. It is brilliant like the sun. Srimad Bhagavatam. I remember I got the Srimad Bhagavatam on the street. In Melbourne, Australia, I got Srimad Bhagavatam on the street. The paperback, the first 7 chapters, on the street, the devotees handed me Srimad Bhagavatam. I looked at it, glanced at it, didn't understand much, but the pictures, they stimulated the interest in Krishna consciousness. And anyway, we began associating with the devotees. But this is the kindness, even distributing Srimad Bhagavatam on the street. So hearing these glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, the sages, they inquired from Sutta Goswami, how is it that the great sage Vyasadeva compiled Srimad Bhagavatam even after already compiling such extensive transcendental literature, Vedic literature. He had compiled he had divided the Vedas into 4 specifically for the Kali Yuga, divided the Vedas into 4 and then written a conclusion of the Vedas, the 4 Vedas, Vedanta Sutra, and also Itihas, the Mahabharata, and other Puranas, 18 Puranas, he had compiled. This actually, he's the Shaktabesh avatar. Shaktabesh avatar means that the Shakti, the direct Shakti of the Supreme Personality of God, it enters into the heart of that particular jiva, and they can perform on a level like that with the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Vyas Muni Shakta Abesh Avatar. So already he had compiled such extensive literature. Subsequently, how did he get the inspiration to, in addition to all of the Vedic literature he had compiled, then compile Srimad Bhagavatam? And in response to this question, Sutta Goswami, he explains in the 3 chapters the preaching of Srila Narada Dev to Vyas Muni. And Prabhupada comments in this regard that even the incarnation of the Lord requires to be corrected. And Narad Muni's teachings to Srila Vyasadeva, they're very, very significant and regularly quoted by His Divine Grace. Nayadva cha chitra padan Hare jasha jagat pavitram pagrinita kayachit tadbaya samtirtam ukshanti manasa nayatra hangsha niramanti ushikshayaha. That those words which do not glorify the Supreme Lord, Hare Jasha, which are not glorifying the Supreme Lord, such glorification, Jagat Pavitram, can purify the entire universe. Tadbaya Samtirtam. They are the place of pilgrimage for crows. Just see how severe Narad's teaching, Narad's instruction, Narad's correction. He's saying that all of this literature that you have compiled, as Krishna summarizes in Bhagavad-gita 2nd chapter, that Vishaya Veda, Trigunna Vishaya Veda, Trigunna Vishaya Veda, Nishtragunna Bhava Arjuna. Become above the flowery words of the Vedas, Arjuna, because Trigunna Vishaya Veda, the Vedas are mainly dealing with the 3 modes of material nature. How you can legally enjoy in this world. How you can legally enjoy in this world, the Vedic literatures. which is progressive from the big karma, which most of in English is called hedonism. Hedonism. I have a yoga mat. Yoga mat, we do some exercise, keep Krishna's property. We try to look after Krishna's property, do some exercise. A doctor recommended 45 minutes a day. And the GBC also said that temples should provide facility for residents to do exercise. Of course, chanting and dancing in the kirtan, that's the best exercise. But on my yoga mat, it says, if it feels good, do it. Unfortunately, I have to see that, but I turn it over so I don't see that when I'm doing that. But this is called hedonism. This is actually the demoniac indoctrination. That whatever your senses demand, animal life. If it feels good, do it. There's no consideration of dharma, of the duty, of the purpose. Emon dulab manav deho, paya ki koda bhavna keho. Yesterday we sang a song, Srila Bhaktivinoda, Emon dulab manav deho, having received this rare dulab manav deho. Paya, having received it, paya ki koda bhavana keho. Ki koda bhavana. What are you thinking about? What are you utilizing this valuable human life for? Or what is it just in pursuing sense gratification? So therefore, Vyasadev's contribution to legalize the rituals, the penance, the procedures in order to purify of the sins of materialistic sense enjoyment, that is certainly commendable. However, being devoid of the glorification of the Supreme Lord Hari, Narad Muni, he couldn't tolerate. It's like an example, sometimes the traffic in Mumbai is it's going so slowly that if it was going any slower, you'd be going backwards. So Narad was frustrated that this will not work in Kali Yuga, this gradual process that people they'll never get to the destination. Better you write one book, Tadbhag Visharga Janataga Biplava, Jasmin Proti Shlokam, Abhada Bhatyabi, that within each and every syllable of Srimad Jasmin Proti Shlokam, Janataga Biplava, is so powerful that it can create a revolution. A revolution, Janataga Biplava. In the Janataga, in the misdirected lives of the sinful people, sinful population, we have one sloka. Jasmin Proti Shlokam, Janata, Tadbhag Bisharga, Janataga Biplava, Jasmin Proti Shlokam. Namani Anantasya Jasho Kintani Yat Srinvanti Goyanti Grinanti Sadhava. Prabhupada, he wrote his purport on that verse when he was alone in Chippiwada. And still he had such a vision that actually this Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to bring about a revolution in the world. Prabhupada on his own. No followers, no support. Even as a sannyasi, still he didn't have followers. But still Prabhupada had the vision that Srimad Bhagavatam is so powerful that it will create a revolution. And particularly he said, Srinvanti Goyanti Grinati Sadhava. He said particularly the people of India have a responsibility to deliver the whole world. Sadhava. Grinanti, Srinvanti Grinanti Goyanti Sadhava. And in this way, he encouraged Vyas. Narad spoke some chastisement to Vyas. What you have done, it's so slow that it's not going to work. Just let them read a few words glorifying the Supreme Lord, and that will be sufficient to Srinvatam Shvakata Krishna Punya Shrabona Kirtana. All of the piety which can be acquired by the regulative procedures of the Vedic lifestyle, that can be achieved is simply by hearing Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shrabana Kirtana. Just by the simple process of hearing, one can acquire all of the results of pious activities. So how suitable, Prabhupada understanding, how suitable the Srimad Bhagavatam, propagating Srimad Bhagavatam, regular hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, how suitable that is for the Kali Yuga and for the spreading of Krishna consciousness. that people can come to the temple, at least spend some time in the temple and hear some words of Srimad Bhagavatam every day. And for that reason, Srila Prabhupada struggled so with great determination, single-handedly, and published the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and took 200 of those sets, 600 books with him on the Jaladuta to America. And we're so fortunate here in ISKCONJuhu. Of course, it is established Tirtha Sthana, and Prabhupada's presence here is so predominant, such a special temple. It is a great honor for me to speak Srimad Bhagavatam in presence of SriSriRadhaRasbihari and Srila Prabhupada and their dear devotees. It is a great honor bestowed upon me. And when we go to Srila Prabhupada's room and we can see the original, one of the original Srimad Bhagavatams that Prabhupada personally published and carried with him to the United States, it is such a purifying Tirtha Jatra. So the importance of accepting Guru. The importance of accepting Guru is established in the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. And again, Srila Narada Dev, he comes and appears in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam to instruct and give his mercy by simply Bhajai Bina, glorifying the Supreme Lord. The importance of accepting spiritual master also seen in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he was going to Gayadam in the pretext of performing the Shraddha ceremony for his departed father, Jagannath Mishra, but upon arriving in Gayadam and taking darshan, you could say this was Mahaprabhu's first Tirtha Jatra. Going from Mayapur, he went to the holy place in Gaya, Padapada Tirtha, and seeing the lotus feet of Srila Madhusudan. Then at that time, actually, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he began to display the pastime of love of God. Sharva Jagatir Bhagye Prabhu Gauda Chandra Prem Bhakti Prakashe Korila Aramba. At that very moment, Gaushunda, he began, his pastimes changed from the Vidyalila. He was enjoying, just like in Braj, Nandan, he's enjoying picnics with the cowherd boys on the banks of the Jamuna. So in the same way, that same person, Brajendra Nandan Jai Shachishuta Hoilo Shay, Balarama Hoilo Nitai. They've appeared in Navadev Dham in the family of Brahmins, and he's enjoying the pastimes of scholarship. Sarva Navadipe Proti Nogode Fusfigon Shange Biddarash Kridapore, enjoying the Biddarash. In fact, Navadeep was famous for learning. Chartodik Hoite Lok Navadipe Jai Navadeep Porile She Biddarash Pai. From all directions, the scholars were coming to Navadeep because Navadeep Porile, if you study in Navadeep, Shay Biddarash Pai, you get a taste for learning, Biddarash. And Mahaprabhu, he was enjoying the mellows of scholarship and defeating all of the Bhattacharjas and Mishras. And in this way, he was enjoying his pastimes. And then seeing the lotus feet of Sri Madhusudan in Gayadam, Mahaprabhu felt that now is the time to begin revealing the real purpose for my incarnation. And he began to display the symptoms of love of Godhead on the spot. Sharva Jagatir Bhagye Prabhu Gau Chandra Prem Bhakti Prakasha Korila Aramba. The priests who were sitting around worshipping the lotus feet of Sri Madhusudan, they were astonished to see the transformations of ecstatic love which were erupting on the body of Lord Chaitanya. And it is no coincidence, it is by the Lord's arrangement that at that very time, at that very moment, at that very place, standing there, witnessing Mahaprabhu's transformations of love, eruption of love of God, standing there was his guru, Ishwara Puri Prabhupada, standing there watching. How extraordinary is that for us? We take many, many years to come to the platform of Bhagavad Bhakti. Gradually, we're living in the base and we're going to college, or we have our work, and then gradually we're chanting Hare Krishna, attending programs, taking prasadam, and then it takes many years, we begin to aspire for taking initiation. We undergo the ISKCON disciples course, training program, get certificate, and then we take shelter of an initiating guru. It's quite an effort. And Mahaprabhu, in one moment, everything is, his guru is there, and he's demonstrating prema, love of God. How much prema? Well, upon returning to Mayapur, the devotees immediately, the news spread, Parama Adbhut Kota Maha Ashambhav Nimai Pandit Hoilo Parama Vaishnav. The news, they couldn't believe, Maha Ashambhav. Our most the heartfelt desire has been fulfilled. Maha Ashambhav, Parama Adbhut Kota Nimai Pandit Parama. He's become a great Vaishnav. What sort of Vaishnav? Pada Padda Tirtha Laite Matro Nam. Simply when he hears the name Pada Padda Tirtha Laite Matro Nam Nayaner Jale Shabpunna Hoilostan. The whole courtyard becomes flooded with the tears. Nayaner Jale Shabpunna Hoilostan. The whole courtyard becomes flooded with tears just when he hears the name Pada Padda Tirtha. And at the same time, when he was in Gayadam, Sri Shachinandan, he established the Goswami Siddhanta, the principles of Krishna consciousness. Although he was going to Gayadam under the pretext of performing the ritual of the Shraddha ceremony and delivering his forefathers, Mahaprabhu explained that just by seeing Ishvara Puri, Prabhupada, the purpose of his yatra had become complete. Shraddha Shabde Bishwash Kohe Shudrida Nishchoy Krishna Bhakti Korile Sharva Karma Krita Hoy. Just by performing Krishna Bhakti, one performs completes, fulfills all of the duties that are required for a human life. Just by performing Bhagavad Bhakti, as given to us by Srila Prabhupada and Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. So Mahaprabhu, seeing Ishwarpur, he explained that I've come here to deliver my forefathers, and I'm performing the various rituals with the priests. 16 times Mahaprabhu performed different ceremonies in Gaya, 16 different places. And he said that simply those persons, those forefathers whose names are mentioned by the priest during the ceremony, they are benefited, but just by seeing you, tomar dekle matro koti pitrigon shekone sharva bonda pa bimochon. Tomar dekle matro, just by seeing you, koti pitrigon, 10 million of my ancestors, koti pitrigon shekone sharva bonda pa bimochon. They're delivered from all hellish condition, all bondage, just the moment I saw your lotus feet. So in his own pastimes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showing us the significance of taking association with the great Vaishnava and surrendering at their lotus feet and taking instruction from them. When Mahaprabhu, having been initiated in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and a 10-syllable Gayatri mantra, there in Gayadam, he began the sadhana as given to him by his guru, began performing the sadhana, and he became overwhelmed with love of God, and he actually decided not to return to Mayapur. And in the middle of the night, he got up and he began running to Vrindavan, not knowing where Vrindavan was, but like a madman running. And then a voice from the sky, Koto Durjaite, Shunen Dibabani, Ekon Mathura Nar Jaibo Dijamani. He heard in the sky, the Dibobani, the transcendental Akashvani, that Ekon, now Mathura Nar Jaibo Dijamani. Now you will not go to Mathura. You just say, heard the sky. Oh, you are the Supreme Personality of God. And if so much overwhelmed with love of God, as a result of chanting the japa, that is a mantra his guru gave, he forgot. He's running for Vrindavan. He doesn't even remember he's God. You are the Supreme Personality. You have to return to Mayapur. You have to deliver Jagai Madhai. You have to inaugurate Panchatattva. So Mahaprabhu, he returned to Guru. Kiba mantra dilu koshai, kiba ball. Oh, Gurudev, kiba mantra dilu. What mantra have you given me? Kiba ball. What is its power? Jopedi mantra, koryale pagal. Chanting this mantra, I've become mad. And hearing this, Ishwar Puri, his guru, he was very pleased. Balo, Pailo, Tumi, Padam, Purusharta, so wonderful, my child. You have attained the highest goal of life. Toma premete amai hoilan kritato. Seeing your development of love of God, I've become indebted to you. And then Ishwar Puri, he answered Mahaprabhu's question, Kiba mantra dilo, what mantra have you given? He answered, Hare Krishna Mahamantra Jaito Shabhav. The very nature of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Jai Jope Tare Krishna Upajaye Bhav. Whoever chants, Jai Jope, whoever chants, Tare Krishna Upajaye Bhav, they feel awakening, eruption. Krishna Upajaye Bhav, feelings of love for Krishna are awakened by anyone who chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then Ishwar Puri, before this event, Mahaprabhu, he was not preaching, he was not, there was one incident in Faridpur in East Bengal on the banks of the Padma, when Tapan Mishra inquired about Sada Sadhya. And Mahaprabhu, he was absorbed in the Vidya Leela, but he responded to Tapan Mishra at that time that Suno Misra Kali Juga Nahi Tapa Jagya Jai John Bhaje Krishna Shay Mahabhagya. Oh Mishra, in Kali Yuga no need of sacrifice and austerity. Jai John Bhaje Krishna, the one who chants Hare Krishna and worships Krishna, Shay Mahabhagya. He's the most fortunate. Mahaprabhu, he preached at that time, but in general, he was absorbed in the Vidya Lila. But after this meeting with Srila Ishwar Puri Prabhupada, he returned to Mayapur. He couldn't teach anymore. He couldn't teach anymore. The students would assemble in the class, and as was their practice, they'd begin the class, they'd chant the names of Hari, 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 to begin the class. Hearing that, Mahaprabhu, hearing the name Hari, he would fall, he would become stunned. He'd become overwhelmed in the love of God. And he couldn't give the class. So, and then inaugurating the Sankirtan, engaged every evening, every night, the Sankirtan with the Antaranga Bhaktagan and Navadip Dham. This was because of the order that Srila Ishwar Puri Prabhupada gave. Before meeting Ishwar Puri Prabhupada, he was not engaged in Sankirtan with the Navadip Basis. They were performing Sankirtan, Sribhash Thakur, Advaita Acharya Thakur, Chandrasekhar Acharya. They were performing Sankirtan. Mahaprabhu was not a member of their society. But he received the order from Ishwar, Nache, Gao, Bhakta Sange, Koro Sankirtan, you should dance. Murka Tumi Tomar Nahika Vedanta Adhikar, Krishna Nam Japa Shada. A mantra shad. Krishna Nam Japa Shada. Constantly chant the holy name. You are a fool, you cannot understand anything about the Vedanta. The Hare Krishna mantra is the essence of all the Vedas. And in addition to chanting the japa, Ishwar Puri Prabhupada also ordered Mahaprabhu to perform Sankirtan. Nache, Gao, Bhakta Sangha, you should dance, you should sing. Bhakta Sangha in association of the devotees. Koro Sankirtan, perform Sankirtan. Krishna Nam, Upadeshi, Tara Sarvajan. And you should deliver all of the people by instructing them in the glories of Krishna Nam. So in this way, even in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, we can see the extreme importance of taking shelter of the great Vaishnava, taking initiation, taking instruction from them. And time again, we see in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, His Divine Grace, Srila Narada Dev also giving instruction. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions on today's verse? Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.